So, have any of you seen Bob's Tall Tales just out on Arc recently? Because I've seen it, and obviously I have purchased it as a fellow Arc YouTuber. I've gone along with the general thing, and I've bought it for £24.99, which is an absolute scam. And I'm just saying, if you're not in a state where I am, or when other Arc YouTubers are, when we can very easily just make the money back like that, it is probably not worth your time unless you just reek money, or you love everything that the Wildcard puts out and you want Bob's Tall Tales. Yes, obviously it doesn't just give the Oasisaur, but if you do want the Oasisaur, then you're going to have to download this mod. And it's not even a download, which kind of infuriates me even more in a way. Actually, with this, all that it is simply you pay 25 quid. There's no update or anything like that involved, at least I didn't get any, and then you just boot into the game, and there you go, the Oasisaur and Bob's Tall Tales is there ready for you to play. And actually for me, and for a lot of people out there, it's broken and I can't actually access the content for some reason, which is great from Wildcard. And although I am loving Scorched Earth, and I think that's a really good decision from Wildcard, truly amazing map, go check it out. Yes, some people are a bit infuriated that they're getting crashes and all of that stuff, and the floating rocks and things like that. It's way less than on the island, honestly, and I find the map doesn't run too badly for me. I haven't experienced any crashes from my personal self. Obviously, it's still going to be like that for some other people, and it definitely has been, because the reviews have still been very mixed, but I've not actually been hating on Scorched Earth too much, and I'm enjoying it, whereas with this, I think it is an utter scam. But before we get into the rationale behind that, I just want to state the Oasisaur's abilities. So its ability number 1 is Resurrection. When bringing a caught or a breedable creature over to the pond, which is on the top of its saddle, you can resurrect it. You can resurrect them as babies. The pond will take a while for the baby to be fully resurrected, and also you can do reincarnation. You can use You can use the death essence of a creature to reincarnate it. To do so, put the death essence into the Oasisaur's inventory and then choose reincarnate. This only happens every 24 hours though, and taming one counts as the first reincarnation, so the ability isn't immediately available. So after you actually have tamed an Oasisaur, then you still have to wait 24 hours to use this ability. Also, if you did notice that picture of the Oasisaur back, that is Hod's thumbnail on this creature. Is it a pay to win? It does have a lot of good abilities, but it still essentially acts like the Titanosaur, to be honest. It still has that 24-hour hunger period, and most people have been saying it's an absolute pain to tame. So to tame a Oasisaur, according to the wiki, you need to bring a dead tamed creature to sacrifice as a resurrecting medium via a cryopod to the resurrection phase. Vultures will spawn in all directions to attempt to kill the resurrecting baby. If the baby takes too much damage, the taming will reset to 0, thus killing the creature. Used in the process, with its progress obviously being reset to 0. Note that you cannot resurrect any other creature after it's tamed, as the success of taming will counter as being resurrected. I'm not sure if that's totally accurate, as I've been seeing some people use cannons on the underside of Oasisaurs. I haven't really got into the whole taming of these things. Have you tamed one? Because I've seen a few people tame one, but not fully in depth. And actually, if you don't want me to do a taming video, for still how much I hate this DLC in an extent, I will still make a taming video for the Oasisaur if that is something that you want, because I do admit it is a cool creature. There's a lot that's gone into it, and they have custom tops as well, and you can do a lot with them. You can put turrets all over them. They're absolute tanks. They've got loads of health. Not the fastest things in the world, but they can fly around. They don't really have all too many special abilities in terms of like when you press C and X and things like that. I'm pretty sure they only have left click and right click, and that is literally it. But still, for 25 quid, that is very much not acceptable. And obviously it's not all you get with the Bob's Tall Tales thing, so let's just get into what you get with all of that. There's just kind of generally extra skins, extra weaponry, and extra things that you can do and play around with. It's not like you get another new map or anything like that though. And obviously paid mods are a thing now on Arc, and looking at Scorched Earth, that thing is 10 quid. I think it's actually $10 because it's priced in dollars instead of pounds, so that's even less. And the fact that this is £25 is honestly absolutely absurd. I am really not here for that to come out of Snail Games and Wildcard. Obviously, you can't just blame everything on Snail Games, because after all, it is still Wildcard's game and they are still putting out this content. And yes, obviously there's not too much they can do to savour it, or at least from our perspective there isn't too much to do that they can actually save from this. But either way, there still is a lot of pressure put on them as well, and you know, that really shouldn't be acceptable in terms of everything. And yes, I've moaned about ASA a lot, but this is just something where after such a high of Scorched Earth and then having to do all of this, it's not been great. I've spent 4 days on Scorched Earth, playing through it, really enjoying it. Didn't even think of the Oasisaur. Personally, that Raasclark, that is honestly a great tame, and I probably prefer it from the Oasisaur, because obviously the Oasisaur still costs 25 quid if you want to tame that thing. Whereas, albeit, yes, the Raasclark costs 35 quid because you've got to buy Arc anyway. So then on top of that, the Oasisaur costs 40, 50, 60 quid, that's a lot just for one creature. I know you get skins on top of it as well, but in total, far too much. And obviously with that 35 quid, you get 2 maps, all the creatures along with it, you know, and some exclusive creatures. You obviously get the Gigantoraptor because that's free. That's a free mod. So it really doesn't make sense to me. I think the Oasisaur should have just been included with the map. It's like when Wildcard was like, right, we're gonna make all the DLCs paid again, and then people were like, no, please don't do this, and they're like, okay, we'll make them free DLCs then. But then they're like, after that, like, well, you can get this adventure pack, and then from that is how we're going to get the money out of you. And it just seems like there's always a way behind this, where there's always going to be something that we're going to have to pay through. Like, we just want the DLCs with all the creatures for free with the game that we paid, because if we just wanted to go back onto Scorched Earth again, we simply could, and just go back on Ark Survival Evolved, because most of us have that game and we own it, and we've got Scorched Earth and that. Yeah, we're not going to have the Oasisaur on it or the Raasclark, but still, we have the whole map and we can play through it, and we have all that experience. And loads of people right now are just going back to Survival Evolved, and loads of people generally just across, ever since ASA release, have just been like, sorry, the game is too unstable and I don't really like the morals of it, and they've just been saying, well, we're simply not going to play it on the channel and all of that kind of stuff. And there's just so much horrible stuff that has gone on with Ark Survival Ascended. Scorched Earth, very good move from them. Bob's Tall Tales, I would pose it as a scam. Personally, I think you should not install this thing unless you just really don't care what you're doing with your money.